a noble goal. The problem is you cannot increase coverage for people without, you can't do that without controlling costs. And the law, while it provided additional coverage for people, it did not deal with cost control. And because there's no cost control, I believe that this deficits are going to explode because of this law. And the coverage that people are going to get in the healthcare law, many of whom are going to get through what's called Medicaid, not Medicare, Medicaid. And that's where the big expansion is going to be. And truthfully, right now, many people who are on Medicaid have a hard time getting access to a physician. And so taking a broken Medicaid system, but taking a broken Medicaid system and expanding that, I mean, just simply saying, hey, because you have coverage to healthcare doesn't mean you will have access. And that is a big failure. Now, on Medicare, that is, the healthcare for people 65 and over, on Medicare, what they did in this law, they cut Medicare by nearly a $500 billion over the next 10 years to fund a new entitlement program for people who are not on Medicare. So they're cutting Medicare to create this new entitlement program for people who are under 65 and trying to say that this isn't going to affect Medicare. It will affect Medicare. It certainly will. But they're going to take it and create a new entitlement program that is going to cost $1 trillion, and when fully implemented, it will be $2.5 trillion new program. Again, not sustainable. And there's also another $500 billion in taxes on top of all this. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but in order
the other problem being is our Social Security hasn't gone up in 2 years. Now, they gave us a $250 thing last year. This year we got nothing because the Senate voted against it because it costs too much money to give us our lousy $250, but they gave themselves, and you got a raise, everybody got a raise. But we didn't get it because they figure the cost of living is different.
Okay, Margaret, let me, because I have to jump to a few more calls. Let me just quickly address that, then I want to go to a few more calls. There was no congressional pay raise. Two, you're correct about what you said with respect to the cost of living adjustment. A year ago, you didn't get a cost of living adjustment when the recession hit because a lot of prices dropped, and that the calculation was such that it didn't happen. Now, that said, if you had a Medicare Part B premium, and that would have caused you to get less in Social Security than you did the year before, that wasn't going to happen. We were going to hold you harmless. I don't vote on that cost of living adjustment. That's set by a formula that's calculated each year. So, but thank you for that call. I appreciate it, Margaret. I'm going to try to get a few more calls here. Michael. Michael is in the Allentown area. Hey, Michael, you're live. Go right ahead.
Hello, Congressman Dent. Nice to speak to you. My question is this. Why not use the power of the House's control, after November, to oppose Obama's wasteful spending? And I'll give you some examples. Obama's appointed czars. They were not confirmed by the Senate, so I don't see any reason to pay them. Some $108 billion to Greece, $25 billion in more foreign aids, and $2 billion to Haiti, and the list just goes on and on. Now, why not just cut that money right off?
Well, at least in terms of how can we restrain spending, there are a lot of ideas out there. One, I'd say this. I'll give you some quick ideas about how to save some money. Basically, we have TARP money, the Troubled Asset Relief Program. A lot of that money's been repaid, and some of it has never been spent. Take that money, use it for deficit reduction. That's probably close to nearly $400 billion. Right now, take the repaid money and the unspent TARP money and use it for deficit reduction. There's a lot of unspent stimulus money out there, somewhere around $266 billion. Again, rescind the unobligated authority and use it for deficit reduction. Cap what I would call discretionary spending, domestic discretionary spending. I think we can. I think if we just cap that, and we could probably save somewhere in the area of, and take it back to the original baseline level of 2008 before the stimulus. I think we could save close to, we'd save hundreds of billions of dollars by doing that. We could also impose a federal government pay freeze for the civilian force for 1 year. That would save us $30 billion. So these are just, we try to, again, adopt a legislative, the line item veto. That's something that would help us. So help